Maybe, yes, absolutely, yes.
Hi, everyone. Oh, sorry. Let me fix this here. Hi. Oh, that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Not the most flattering angle, but that's okay.
No problem.
Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you're having a beautiful day. This is our last day of business and... not my thing. It's our last day of business and beliefs, and today I am here in South Florida with my beautiful client, Maggie Reyes. Hi, Maggie.
Hello.
And we just had a super fun day intensive, and I asked Maggie to join me on this live stream about business and beliefs because Maggie is a belief champion. She makes mindset work in her business, and it has really worked in her business, and it has gotten her big results in her business. And so I'm gonna ask Maggie some questions. We're gonna give you some wisdom around that. And first I want to let Maggie introduce herself, though. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Hello. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I usually am on the other side of the screen watching Lacey do the live stream, so I'm like, wow. So my name is Maggie Reyes. You can find me at modernmarried.com. And what I do is I teach people how to create a life they love with the love of their life. Feel the excitement. And I'm a life coach and a writer and what else? That's it. That's it.
All of the things.
All the things. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so hi, Adrian.
Hi, Adrian.
Hi, Lindsay. Say hi to us if you're on here. Okay, so
Hi, Lindsay.
today we're talking about creating empowering beliefs in your business, and it's funny because Maggie and I always are laughing at how much like the stuff she does in relationships relates to business, right? Either way, it's like, are you creating the empowering belief there, and are you living into it, right? So first, I would just love for you to share, like, what are some of the empowering beliefs that you hold in your business that you create, and then how do you do that? Like, I know you have fun ways that you do that.
Yes. So, where do I start? Well, let me tell you something that's both business and marriage. And one of the most important things for me is it doesn't have to be how everybody else does it. And one of the reasons I love working with you is because you have that same belief, which is my marriage doesn't need to look like anybody else's to be successful for me. And most likely, if it does look like someone else's, it's not going to be right for me.
Yeah.
And the same is true in a business. Like, I'm a coach, but that doesn't mean I'm going to coach the same way that Lacey coaches, because that's not the right way for me. So that permission to follow your own inner guidance and to follow what feels right to you is super powerful in both arenas.
So true, right? Like, there's no one right way to do business, and there's no one right way to do marriage. And if you have somebody that's telling you there's a problem.
Correct. Run the other way.
Yes, exactly. So tell me about your thoughts I think about my business, because that's like one of my favorite things.
Okay, so I was telling Lacey that I have this paper on my board in my office right next to my desk, and it's thoughts I have as I build my business. And it's just a list of thoughts that I want to have, and sometimes I have them naturally, and sometimes I need to have them on purpose. So that's why I have them there.
Such a good point too, right? Like,
Yeah.
I need to like encourage the thoughts I want to have, and they
Exactly.
become more natural as I encourage them.
Exactly. So I left corporate last year and I was suffering from exhaustion. So rest is really important to me. For you, it might be play, it might be balance, it might be some other thing. So for me, I have on my wall, as I honor my need for rest, my business grows easily and effortlessly. Can you tell I have it there so I know?
Yeah.
I can recite
It's like
it.
programmed in now, right?
Exactly. And that's really important to think about. What are the thoughts you want to have about your business, even if they're not completely materialized right now, but that's how you materialize them, is by thinking them.
Yes, exactly. Like, one of the things I say, like, I'm a broken record, is our subconscious doesn't filter for accuracy, it filters for repetition, right?
Exactly.
So it's not going, Maggie, today, are you sure you really think that your business sucks? Because that's not true. It's like whatever you're inputting
Exactly.
every day is the thing. So Maggie having those hanging on her wall is just inputting that every day. And it's like choosing what you want to think, right? Because like, we are not the thinker of the thoughts, we are the watcher of our thoughts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So separating yourself like from that and being the watcher and decider of, is this thought serving me, right?
Exactly. And another thought I have on there is everything I need comes to me. And for example, I needed to work with a coach that was aligned with that idea that not every way, it's not a blueprint, it's not a cookie cutter, right? And so that came to me in the form of Lacey.
Law of attraction in action. I like that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Maggie and I talk about this a lot. Like, I have a list of, like, what my ideal client values, and like if I could hold that up to Maggie, she would check off every box, right? And she had a list of what she wanted in a coach, and if she could hold that up to me, she'd check off every box. So in some ways we both were practicing the law of attraction that attracted each other, right?
Exactly. And I did have a list for my husband before I met my husband.
Yeah.
So you see how it goes.
Exactly. So having the list, being intentional about the list, how do you kind of like remind yourself to be intentional about that?
So I have a lot of reminders because I need a lot of help. So I have Post-its, and I have things that are just like triggers for me, like positive triggers. So that's really important. And then
Lindsay says, does he check every box? Your husband.
Yes. It's crazy. Well, I'll tell you one thing about that. So I wrote on my list, my friends like him and he dances at parties. These were things that were there. And my friends are like, oh, if anything ever goes wrong, he's the one that they're on his side and not mine. They're like, what did you do?
You're like, I didn't mean to take the list that far.
Exactly. And then he would attest to this. He's kind of a goofy dancer. He looks really cute when he's dancing. But he will dance at every single party. And I'm just like, every time we go dancing, I'm like, that was on my list.
That's so funny. Yeah. This stuff works, you guys, right? It's like what you believe is possible shows up for you. And it sounds so simple, right? But it's like in everything, what you believe is possible will show up for you. Like I was even talking to one of my clients that does kind of like an alternative treatment, let's say. And I was saying to her, like, your clients get the most out of that when they believe it's going to work. So how are we going to help them believe it's going to work before they get the treatment, right? Same here. Like Maggie believes that these things on her list are going to come true, and so they do. But how have you gotten to that belief part? You've been intentional about cultivating them.
So one of the things is I look for evidence in other parts of my life that shows me that I can do hard things, and that shows me that sometimes I need to plant a lot of seeds for those things to bloom. So in corporate, I was a recruiter, and a lot of times as a recruiter, it's like now in a service, you don't have a sale every single day, but you're planting seeds every single day. In recruitment, you don't have a hire every single day, but you're planting seeds, reaching out to people, you know, making connections, making relationships. And so I would say when I'm frustrated in the business that I'm building now, I look to the things that show me that I can do this because I've done things either harder or similar before, and I kind of bring that energy to what I'm doing now.
Yes, like it actually is replicatable.
Exactly.
There's a book that I love. It's called The Wealthy Spirit, and she calls it sending out ships, right? So you send out ships every day, right? And so sometimes sending out ships is just your belief system, right?
Exactly.
Yes. Seed planting every single day.
Yes, exactly.
Totally. And so you know that you were able to do that in corporate, so it's easy for you to bring into your business, right? Yeah. We talk about that all the time. It's like that self-trust. Do I believe that I can do this? Well, I've done it here, so I can do it here. And then tell me how you see those two, like, combining with, like, business and marriage. I know we talk about that, but, like, the planting seeds every day kind of thing, right?
So that's perfect. So there's this concept. It's called your emotional bank account. And the Gottman Institute talks about this in their books, and they're awesome. And it's basically you deposit into your emotional bank account every day. And the reason you make the deposit is because eventually you're going to need to make a withdrawal.
Yes.
So if I'm really nice to my hubby and he's in a good mood and he's happy and everything is good, when I forget to turn off the toaster, he'll be like, oh, that's okay, because he has all this money or energetic money in his emotional bank account. It's kind of the same in your business. You plant these seeds, you make these deposits, and eventually you make a withdrawal, which would be what? A sale, right? Yeah. Or you make a withdrawal in the emotional sense of your tribe, your people who follow you. They'll give you a compliment. They'll tell you how something you said impacted them. And then that feeds you to keep going until the next time that you're doing whatever you're doing.
Totally. Or maybe even like a negative withdrawal, right? Yeah. Like if I've done really well planting the seeds in my business and then something negative happens where like I didn't get the result I thought I was going to get, I have more fortitude to like get through that, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what that's about.
You should do live stream partners more often. Yeah, I like this. This is great.
Thank you.
So yeah, like, how are you planting those emotional seeds in your business, right? Like, and what might that look like? So for you, when you say that in your business, what does that look like for you?
So I write a blog that's called Modern Married. You can read it at modernmarried.com. Always let people know what you do.
Be your own biggest fan.
Be your own biggest fan. And so what I do is I write about simple tools you can use to have better relationships. And yes, we're both available. It'll be the three of us. We'll go do it together. And so I write about these things, and I always think of the person on the other end of the screen. I love you, Adrienne Dorison. Yes,
You're the best, Adrienne.
I think of the other person at the end of the screen, and I think, how is this going to impact them, and what's useful to them? Because obviously, I love marriage, and I'm a passionate marriage advocate, and I could talk about it for hours. But I need to make it a bite-sized thing that will be useful to that person. So that's how that translates into how I cultivate the audience that follows me. And then on Facebook,
that's like you making deposits with your audience.
Exactly.
You planting seeds with your audience, right? So I think that's important. Is like Maggie could have answered that, like, how do I plant seeds with myself? And that's important too. But it's both ways, right?
Exactly. So I plant seeds with myself with all these positive messages around me, and little reminders on my phone, and coming into this group and doing the Think and Grow Rich challenge. And so that's me planting for me, so that I have enough inside me so that I can share with other people.
And then you get to plant in them.
Exactly.
Right? It's like I think you guys have probably all heard me say this. It's a quote on my website too, but it's like when you have a candle and you light other candles, like, your light isn't burnt out, right?
Exactly.
So it's like the same thing. If I'm planting emotional seeds with myself, forming good beliefs, then when I plant seeds elsewhere, like, mine aren't dying.
Exactly.
They're growing at the same time, right?
You are never diminished by another person's success.
Absolutely.
And that's so important in our arena when we suffer from comparisonitis. I always look at it like the 4-minute mile. If Lacey did something amazing, that means that amazing result is possible. And therefore, that result is possible for me or for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so tell me, one of the things that I love about, like, your story is that when you started your business, it wasn't like, this is it, no matter what, taking it straight to the top. And I feel like most people think you have to start a business with that mentality. And so share with them, like, kind of what your beliefs were when you first started.
Absolutely. This is one of my golden rules, and this is one of my secrets to taking a lot of action. And Lacey will attest to the fact that I take a lot of action, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But I made a decision.
You take inspired action.
Really early on. I take inspired and aligned action that feels true to me, even if it doesn't feel true to someone else. And 2 is I reserve the right to change my mind. So what that means for me is I liberate myself from having to have it all figured out and having to do 5 months of research, and should it be purple or should it be pink? And we all get caught up in that, right? I'm like, today it's pink. Tomorrow, if I think that it should be purple, that's tomorrow's problem. But for today, we're shipping, as Seth Godin would say. And I have a blog that's read by thousands of people. I've had a blog post go viral. I've had a lot of things happen that if I was still stuck in making decisions would never have occurred. So I'm also a big fan of just taking imperfect action. One of my friends says imperfect action is still action.
Exactly. So true.
That has been huge for me.
And you guys know that fits so well in with, like, what I talk about all the time, which is, like, the number one thing you have to do to grow your business is be consistent. Well, how do you get consistent? You decide to show up and take the action that day. Adrienne says, yes, today it's pink. Today it is pink. Lindsay says, and planting grows of its own volition, so when you're planting seeds, they're going to grow. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So I think that's such an important thing, is that sometimes we feel like we have to have the perfect message and it has to show up in that way. I have one client, we've been talking about that a lot for her, is she's like, oh my God, as I've started to move forward and take action, clarity has shown up, so much. But when I was sitting in that place of, like, doing everything I could to take action, it was never showing up. Or doing all I could to get clarity, it was never showing up. So, like, action breeds clarity. Well, how do you take action? You let it be imperfect, right?
Yes, exactly. And you give yourself permission to say, this can still help someone. that has been a very powerful thought for me also. It's like, what do I have to say about marriage? It's like, what?
You should write a blog called Today It's Pink. You should. That's good.
I love it. I totally lost my train of thought, but I love it. What was I saying?
You know that, like, if oh gosh, I think you were saying, like, if you take the imperfect action, it becomes
exactly
more perfect along the way,
if
right?
you take the imperfect action, like, or Adrienne just said, you can't fix a product that never shipped. Like, you learn what you think, who you are, what you believe, and what you're best at by figuring out what you're not good at, what you don't believe, and what you suck at. And all that happens in the process of taking action.
Exactly. Okay, so there's one other funny belief thing I want to share with them, which is Maggie, like, as she said, she has constant reminders around her, whether it's a sign or whatever, that the things I didn't once believe were possible are now possible. So I want to show you what Maggie brought to our intensive today.
This is fun, yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is Maggie and Oprah.
Mm-hmm.
And she brought this, and we put it on our desk today as we were working and doing all the things, as her reminder that the impossible, which is hugging Oprah and saying namaste to Oprah.
Yes. Oprah said
possible.
namaste back, which is awesome. There you go. Mm-hmm.
But such a good reminder, and like, how can you put things like this? Like, you might not have a picture with Oprah, but what's your picture that you have of something that you once didn't believe was possible become possible? And how do you have those reminders and evidence around you? Like, I know in Think and Grow Rich, I've been talking about evidence a lot. Like, what evidence do you have that this works?
Exactly.
And how do you follow that evidence, right? How do you keep it around you more?
Yes, that's so important. I thought it would be fun, and I thought if we put Oprah there, it's like if we ever got stuck throughout the day, I'd be like, well, what would Oprah say? And Oprah would say, think bigger. And I just had that as my little anchor for the day to help us, go through, and it was great.
My theory is proven: 1 degree of separation from everyone we need to know. Maggie's, you're in with Oprah. Yeah.
I love it.
So, okay, the last thing I want you to share with us is kind of the connection between how you show up in your marriage and how you show up in business. Like, especially with gratitude, because that's something we've been talking about so much with Think and Grow Rich, but I think you talk about gratitude a ton in marriage, and I think we can apply that here big time.
So there's 2 things that would really be my 2 big things about this is I'm a big believer in congruence. So the reason I write a marriage blog, it's not by accident. Like, I have to work on my marriage to be congruent in what I do. And it's like I set up a fail-safe for my own self, right? So I wrote a blog post called The Daily Check-In and Why It Matters. And we do a daily check-in, my husband and I. But sometimes we're really busy and we're like, oh, we'll do it tomorrow. And he looks at me and he says, The Daily Check-In and Why It Matters. So it keeps us, it's really funny and it's a lighthearted thing. But it keeps us really focused on, like, that's our priority.
Yes.
And so congruence in my marriage and congruence in my business, those things really go together for me. And then gratitude, to me, love and gratitude are the 2 highest vibing feelings you can have.
Yes, so like in the version of Think and Grow Rich, she would say they're the highest frequencies you can have.
Exactly. And so for me, I thank my husband for little things all the time. We don't have to wait for big things. And think about this in terms of your business. You don't have to wait for your business to be Oprah level, to be thanking it and loving it and nurturing it. And the way it gets to Oprah level is by thanking and loving it and nurturing it.
Yeah.
So that's the same on both sides. Yeah.
It's so true. And it's like, the more you celebrate, the more there is to celebrate, right? In a marriage or in a business. So Adrienne's going to go check out that post. Maybe you can link that later.
Yeah, we'll link to it. No problem.
So the more that you're going, oh wow, somebody liked my post today, and then next you're going, and I signed a client, and then next you're going, and I just filled a group program, or whatever it is, like, you get to, and I just filled a group program by celebrating someone liked my post.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, nail on head.
Same with a marriage. You get to, we're overjoyed and happy every day by starting with thank you for taking out the trash.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yes.
So I think that's a really good point, is like, how are you thanking your business, and how are you using that to let it grow, right?
Yes.
Beautiful. So, okay, we're going to kind of wrap up. I hope that was helpful for you guys. I'm so thankful to all of you that joined us. Thank you, Adrienne. Thank you, Lindsay. If you're watching this on replay, comment below if you have a question about beliefs or about marriage. Maggie would love to answer your marriage questions too. And just remember, like, what you cultivate grows. What seeds you plant grow, right? If you want to meet Oprah, do you believe that's possible for you? If you want your business to grow, do you believe that's possible for you? And are you thankful for where you're already at, right?
Exactly, yes.
Beautiful. So thank you guys for joining us, and we will catch up with you soon. Oh, good. Lindsay just posted the link to the daily check-in and Wyatt.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you.
I hope you all have a beautiful weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to post your comments or questions below on beliefs, marriage, or business.
Yes, feel free to tag me. I'm in the group all the time.
Bye, guys.